It's only after independence, under the guidance of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who encouraged science and technology in the country, that the Indian women began to make their presence felt in various fields hitherto considered as the male bastions. At the turn of the 21st century, some of the women in science could even manage to shatter the glass ceiling and go further beyond. But it wasn't a bed of roses for these women in science. So let us examine some of the factors that affected them in their thorny path to success. Gone are the days when little girls grew up with their dolls and dreams in the protective folds of a large family. Today, things are different for women. Education, especially higher education, has opened up vast vistas of opportunities like never before. Women are as much a part of the scientific community as men are. Yet, very few women scientists could shatter the glass ceiling. Subtle and not so subtle barriers continue to operate against women in science. The common refrain is, one has to be 2.5 times more productive than the average male to be noticed. Women who have charted their destinies through a male-dominated world could destroy the conventional notion that women don't have what it takes to withstand the rigors of research. For instance, Kalpana Chawla, the first Indian woman astronaut, transgressed all barriers to put India on the space map.
Pre-independence, I would say that that was more of a science of individuals. We didn't have such large establishments, but we had very, very distinguished individual scientists. We had a C.V. Raman, we had a Mahendralal Sarkar, we had Satyan Bose and many, Bilwar Sahni and so on. I mean, they were very, very distinguished scientists. There was almost a renaissance period of science.
The world has produced 15 women Nobel laureates. Most of these historical women luminaries in science came up the hard way, facing all sorts of odds and humiliations. Prominent amongst them are Marie Curie. She won the Nobel Prize in Physics for the discovery of radium. Maria Giappard Mayer won the Nobel Prize in Physics for developing the nuclear shell model of the atomic nucleus. Rosalind Franklin was a pioneer molecular biologist and a precursor in the discovery of the DNA molecule. Unfortunately, she was not awarded the Nobel Prize. Even after 50 years of independence, the role of Indian women in the scientific scenario leaves much to be desired due to various social, economical, political and educational constraints.
One need not be very pessimistic. Things are improving, and in our sixth 5-year plan, there was a special project or mention about science and technology and women. That has given a great boost to women.
What positive steps should be taken to make women's role in science and technology better understood and appreciated?
Women as constituting 50% of the human resource in this country have a major role to play, not only in science and technology but all developmental sectors. In science and technology in particular, women will have a very important role because one has to inculcate a scientific temper in the country. One has to ensure that the fruits of scientific research reach every strata of the society, particularly women, looking at their health, employment conditions, conditions of the children, the undernourished, malnourished children, etc.
Women has to play an extremely important role in science today, and particularly 21st century is a knowledge century, and our women can play a great part in science leading to discoveries, innovations in process, and also application of science and technology to day-to-day life. And particularly if you look at the women's career in science, they are highly focused and also they are extremely creative. And it is very much suited for them to take up these challenging tasks related to the discovery of new systems on that.
Though a majority of girls outperform boys in the science subjects at the school and degree level, but only 1% go on to complete a PhD degree or remain in scientific research. What should be done to retain women's scientific talent at a higher level?
Parents should advise their children, daughters, that they should take up science and advantage of science. And even government has to come forward to encourage the students, especially women students, to take up science. And government should consciously invest in propagating this message among the students that science is the subject they should take.
There is absolutely no doubt that where women have the support systems and they are able to have an uninterrupted career, they perform as well or in fact better than men do.
Women form half of the global population. Though they form 1/3 of the labor force and 2/3 of the world's working hours, yet they earn only 1/10 of the income and own only 1% of the world's property.
Women in science are quite comfortable. There is no question that whether it is in appointments, assessments or promotions, just because she is a woman, she is not being ruled out or discouraged. She is being given the equal opportunity. There is no gender bias as far as I see in science management. They are equally coming up. They are being considered for senior positions. They are also being encouraged for various foreign deputations. Many of our women scientists have gone abroad.
Women are the social conscience of the country. They can provide exceptionally creative and talented technical know-how. How does these inherent skills in women can empower them in seeking better job opportunities on par with men?
Science again is extremely powerful tool for empowerment of women, and it provides them the opportunity to think independently, and also it provides opportunity to take decisions at correct time in a correct fashion. Added to that, it exposes them to the global scene. Women also can play a major part in science, particularly in human resource development like teaching, training and so on, which again provides access to large number of people, and they know how to deal with a number of people in different training programs and different HRD programs on that. By all means, it empowers women more than what they are at this moment on this.
Has gender bias become a thing of the past?
I don't think there is a gender bias in entrance to the colleges or pursuing your studies. Perhaps at the much higher level, when you reach the jobs as heads of the departments or heads of the institutions, even there I do not think there is a gender bias. At least I personally have not experienced it. Only thing, women have to prove themselves by working perhaps double the amount of time and energy spent by a man. I hope the men audience will excuse me, because a woman tries to prove herself that she can deliver the goods.
Why should there be a gender bias? The whole emphasis is that the entire human resource should be made use of for the developmental purposes. So why should we have a gender bias? We have to give as much importance to the women as to the men.
It has been observed that there is no deliberate policy to discriminate women in science as such. Rather, the inequality between the sexes is the result of a mindset that has been handed over through centuries.
From the very beginning of medical profession in this country, women have been attracted to this profession. A number of girls used to join the medical course. Over the time, the percentage of women taking to MBBS has increased from maybe a small percentage of less than 10 to now nearly half the number of students in a particular class would be consisting of women.
More women going into medicine, biology, and fewer women going into physics and maths. There is no scientific reason for this, but this is just kind of a conditioning that has taken place.
I'm very much interested in biological sciences and instead of pure sciences, and now so much of research work is going on in this biological sciences, which is very much useful for society. So I have chosen this field.
Though science has advanced by leaps and bounds, there's still a dearth of women scientists when compared to their male counterparts. In the area of defense, only 600 out of 6,000 scientists are women. At CCMB, 24 out of a total of 78, at NGRI, 12 out of 200, and at IICT, 31 out of 189 scientists are women. It is very common to find senior women faculty remaining invisible and marginalized in their own departments and from positions of any real power. When it comes to awards and policy making decisions, they tend to get overlooked.
Compared to the earlier years, we find more and more women getting elected to various science academies, more and more women getting awards, more and more women coming to higher positions, making conscious effort to see that women get invited to speak in seminars, international meetings. They should be deputed, and there should be at least one woman speaker in every seminar. This will give them opportunity to become visible.
In every part of society, male chauvinism is there. The proof of that is they are calling reservations for women in parliament, reservation for women in bus seats, railway compartments. That means they are indirectly, invisibly sending a message that they are weaker section. As long as such kind of reservations and special mention of women is made, my opinion is they are expressing their chauvinism, and invariably the situation will continue. They are not going to give them an equal opportunity. That they are not being given, in my opinion. In majority of the institutions I have been observing, they are needed, but they are not equal. They are needed to a level where they can maneuver them. The numbers, the intellect, everywhere, I think they are not getting adequate place in society.
Scientific work by nature is extremely demanding. Are women scientists really dedicated to their work by putting in as much time and effort as their male colleagues, or are they just working for monetary benefits?
Scientists don't get paid at all. I mean, if you compare them with the people, I mean, with the scientists who are in the industry, basic scientists don't get paid at all. And for us, there are two kinds: people who are either pushed into it they can at least get some money, or they've come out of their own interest. For me, it's the second one. I've come out of my own interest.
I am in this profession by my own choice. It's not, I wasn't pushed in any way by my parents or for monetary reasons. I'm doing what I like to do, and I'm really enjoying it.
A lot of advantages are there in having women in science, because science is a matter of temperament, and women temperament, normally what we observe is they have a lot of patience, perseverance. In research especially, one has to adhere to the workbench, and they have to think constantly on the subject.
Based on the data by the Science Citation Index of the Institute of Science Information, it is found that in India, women publish less but in more prestigious journals.
I think women don't do badly when it comes to publications. Even for those who have had breaks in career and who are struggling with other problems, they are more serious, they are more dedicated, and their publication, I can say only from the experience that I have at the National Institute of Nutrition, I don't think women fare any worse than men. In fact, many of them do better.
The opinion and attitudes of peers are crucial for career development for women. Indian attitudes and cultural upbringing has made matters worse for women because easy mixing of both the sexes was always frowned upon in our so-called traditional society.
The woman has lot of time on hand now, and she can utilize it for her career purposes also. And then that also makes the man also to realize that he has also some role to play even in the household course.
perceptible change in the mindset of men as far as women is concerned in science. As a matter of fact, even non-scientific field also, today we see that in India we accept women as pilots, we accept them as police officers. So men started accepting women. Maybe the pace with which they accept women in various fields may not be as much as we desire.
I think the future is very bright considering the academic performance of girl students. The more and more I see their trend towards science. Initially they were going for biology, agriculture, medical area. Now more and more are going towards engineering also, computer science, informatics, and also extension activities.
By changing their relationship to the society that surrounds them, by expanding the scope of change, and by accelerating the pace, women scientists have broken irretrievably with the past. They have cut themselves off from the old ways of thinking, feeling, and adapting. They have set the stage for a completely new society and are now racing towards it. Fighting all odds at home and outside, the Indian women scientists are now emerging triumphant in their respective fields and are now scaling new heights in research and development. Thanks to the broadened mindsets of men, the inherent science in women is now being encouraged to come out and blossom, which is a healthy sign.